Greetings from the Johnson Sports Center here, Borney Hills Center Court. Men just finishing up practice. They'll be playing the College of Idaho here tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. I want to thank you for joining us for the Crusader Coaches Show. This week on the show, we talk women's basketball with head coach Ryan Bragdon. The ladies will tip off their season this weekend down in Las Vegas, playing the first of 2 games this weekend and 7 on the road to open the season. Then we meet with Jenna Caywood, senior for the volleyball team. She's going to talk about the rest of the season for the Crusaders as they pursue another national tournament berth. We also want to remind you fans, big week here at the Johnson Sports Center. Along with the game tomorrow night, we've got homecoming action. Thursday night, the volleyball team in action as they will host Seattle Pacific. Friday night, the men's basketball team hosting Bethesda at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday matinee for volleyball. 2:30 is the start time for a match against St. Martin's to wrap up homecoming weekend. Thank you for joining us, and now it's time for the Coach's Corner Show. Welcome to this week's Crusader Coaches Show. Today we're joined by head women's basketball coach Ryan Bragdon, whose team is set to start the 2015-16 season. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Thank you, Mike.
Let's talk about the upcoming season. Exciting time. You guys head down to Vegas to get started Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, very excited and excited to get back into it. Last year we just had our bumps and bruises, getting a lot of the young ones experience, and now we feel like we have that experience. It's now ready to go out and do it against some real folks, and it's going to be a test right out of the gate with Central Missouri and Minnesota State Moorhead, and very good teams out of the Midwest, but it's exciting.
You guys, exhibition against Eastern Oregon about a week and a half ago, put on a great show for the fans. What coming out of that game did you see that you really liked and that are things you can build on?
Well, I like our depth. Like I said, last year we got a lot of people, a lot of experience, and I think what we saw last week was that experience kind of now experienced. So we got out of last year what we needed to get out of, and then this fall they've come back focused and ready and motivated, and then the addition of the other 4 have just kind of blended well with the group that we have, and they've added their own spice to the pot, and now we're just ready to go and kind of start to reach our full potential as a team.
I think a big thing that they look at a team like you had your first year and they have high expectations, but in a sense it's a completely new team. They're learning a new coach, they're learning so much. This has become your team, 3rd season. You have a lot of the players that you've brought in. How is this team going to do now that it really has your feel and your look to it?
Well, it needs to go well, so that's the hope. But it does. The team I inherited is very, very good, very talented. But they were also old, and they had their own ways and the ways that they thought the program was being run. So now even the holdovers, which we have 3 left, they know what I expect, they know what I want, they know the style we want to play, they know the type of look that we want to have, and so that their experience through that transition throughout this has helped a lot as we've been bringing in our own players to build kind of what we have and kind of what we see. We have a lot of depth. I think we're skilled, we're athletic, we're long, and hope the goal is to play an exciting brand of basketball. So it's good that we showed that last week. The goal is to show it now when it counts. But that's kind of what we've been building towards, and this process that's been going on. hopefully ready to take off.
I know you don't want to give away too much about new players or any secrets to teams that want to scout you guys, but talk about some of the new ones. Are there some impact players coming in that you think will maybe not starters or maybe starters, but players that will have a big impact this year?
Yeah, everybody we bring in, the expectation they come in and make an impact right away. That's how we recruit, and that's how we've gotten some of this depth is that's just what we want. So the twins from right across the street at Nampa High, they're brought a whole new physicality to our team in general. It doesn't matter, they're beating up on anybody that comes in their territory. So they've added that, plus they're very skilled, both of them, Danielle and Raquel. They both bring their own little style. Raquel's a little more versatile, Danielle's just a power inside player, but they're both extremely physical, extremely competitive, and they're bringing in that right mentality to really spice things up a little bit, and the practice has been intense. McKenna Walker from Moses Lake, she's a great offensive player, but as she's proven over the last week when we played some of these other people, is that she just has a nose for the ball, and what she may lack in foot speed, she makes up with her head and her brain. She's got a high basketball IQ, and she can score with the best of them. So she's thrown into a mix that can already put up some points, and that's going to help. And Carly Parker here, because of her defense, and she hasn't disappointed all preseason with that. She's the real deal defensively. She's got great defensive instincts, and what she's shown over the last 2 weeks is that she can play some offense, and that just makes her a more complete player, and the player that I knew she would become. I just didn't anticipate it this soon. So she's well on her way, and I anticipate those four having as big an impact as anybody else this year.
Obviously, Taylor Simmons, senior all-conference preseason selection. Ellie Logan, sophomore all-conference preseason selection. They're going to be two players that you depend on as returners for big impact, but this team has a lot of players that realistically could have been considered preseason all-conference. Lexi Tubbs, Copa Golf, some of those. Who is going to be the impact new returners, or do you have just a slew of them?
The hope is we have a slew of them, but kind of our style of play and what we're kind of expecting as a team, like we've been realistic about who we are all fall, that we do have multiple people on our team that can score 20 on any given night. It's not going to happen that way. There's not enough shots to go around, and so we've talked about that, and the goal is, if we don't have somebody representing all conference at the end of the season because the stats aren't there, because everybody's right around that 10-point range, that might be what it is, but we understand that it could be one person one night and their impact is minimal the other night because they're focused on that, but that opens it up for somebody else. So that's what we've been building towards, is that type of depth where it's across the board. You got to pick your poison, and a lot of people can contribute in big ways on any given night.
Happy to trade all those individual honors for one big trophy that says GNAC champion.
Always the goal.
Talk a little bit about the new game. 4 quarters, some different timeout rules and stuff like that. Have you adjusted to it, and will that make an impact to the game?
Still too early to tell if I've adjusted to it. We got thrown. It was a good thing. Like even the timeout situation in the first half is a little different, and understanding how, like we had in the first exhibition, we had that 8-minute stretch where they called an early timeout, and we went 8 minutes without a media in the first quarter. Like that, is it worth taking a timeout now? Probably, yeah. So I learned something from that. The advancing the ball at the end of the game, that could be good, and that definitely, I think, will add some excitement to the end of games. I'm hoping we're not in those situations all the time like we were last year. But if we are, it is. For our game, I think that will benefit our game a lot, is how that generates excitement. And I don't know, it's too early to tell with the new timing issues, and it'll take some getting used to.
Should mention for fans who haven't been out to see the scrimmages or the exhibitions, a couple of the major new rules that you will notice immediately: 4 10-minute quarters instead of the 2-minute half, or the 2 20-minute halves. And at the end of game, as Coach Bragdon is speaking of, Much like the NBA, after a made basket in the final minute, if the coach calls a timeout, they have the option to advance the ball to the forecourt as opposed to having to go the full length of the floor, which definitely can make for a little bit more dramatic finish on some of these games. Well, I guess the big question is, how excited are you to get down to Vegas, and how will the team do this weekend?
Again, it's going to be a tough test. Wouldn't want it any other way. We have a very tough non-conference schedule. That's for a reason, and the way that the games are set up back-to-back. That's what we face in our conference. So we don't really have a break in this non-conference where we're looking at a game saying, there's a win. We're going to be tested in a big way every single game we play, but that's no difference than going out and GNAC play, and every Thursday, Saturday, you got to be ready to play, otherwise you're going to get beat. So we'll be prepared come GNAC, and we are excited to go beat up on somebody else besides ourselves, and continue to grow as we head into December and playing those games at Central and Billings later on in the season.
You guys are going to be on the road for the first 7 games of the year. Works out to be about a month and a half before you get to play a game here at home. Want fans to watch the games. If you can't make it out to one of the stadiums, if you're in Vegas, if you're in Billings, if you're in California, if you're in Utah, come out. The Crusader ladies are going to be all over the map the next month and a half. Come out, root them on. If you can't watch, nnUsports.com/live stats. You can watch the ladies play on the road before they get home to host the College of Idaho in December.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck this season. Excited and looking forward to a lot of wins.
Thank you, Mike.
Welcome back. We are joined by volleyball senior Jenna Caywood. Thank you for joining us to start with. Let's talk about the upcoming weeks. Homecoming this weekend. You guys get 4 matches in a row, starting with this weekend. How excited are you guys to be at home, part of homecoming, and have some matches at home?
We're really excited about the home matches. I think they're going to be really good for us to find that team dynamic again and focus on what we've been working on in practice, getting over on our blocks and being really dynamic as hitters and picking up a lot on defense. And so I think what we've been working on in practice will show in our next games.
You guys had such a great stretch. You knocked off Anchorage, you knocked off Western Washington, 10 straight wins. And then the bad night Thursday night, the bad result Thursday night. What happened at Alaska?
It was, I guess, a surprising weekend. We went into it thinking that we had like a split weekend, like we could either win one, lose one, or win both. I don't think we expected to lose against Fairbanks, but it really taught us, I think, how to work together as a team and how to execute moments that we need to execute. And I think they had a really great game defensively, and they were just picking up a lot of things and putting down balls that we necessarily weren't putting down. So it's like the little things that add up, and I think that we worked on that today in practice, and hopefully we can continue to work on that, and so we can be more dynamic later on when it matters in regionals.
You guys, number 8 last week in the poll.
Right.
You're going to be on the bubble this week, but you've got those 4 matches at home. You've got Central Washington, which is ahead of you in the rankings. There's plenty of chance to make up ground and make it to nationals for a second straight year. How exciting is it that in your senior season that you're playing for a berth to nationals for the second year in a row?
It's so exciting, honestly. I feel so thankful to be a part of this team. It's a great team dynamic. We all are excited to be here, and we're excited to hopefully get into the tournament again.
And it's got to be nice, too, that it's in your hands. I mean, really, you don't have to worry about scoreboard watching and all that nonsense. If you win, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in.
Yeah, we just have to continue winning, you're right.
Talk about your play. You're, I think, 5th, one of 5 players in triple-digit kills on the year, 3rd in blocks. And what's been going right for you? How have you been doing it?
I really think it's everybody else on my team. Like Linnea and our back row, Jack and Shaylee have been putting us in really good spots as hitters, and so I think with that, them getting the ball to the net, Haley's able to put Maddie and I in really great positions, and Kendra and Elena also. So I really think that having a team really support each other and really do the best that they can do to make us look better has been huge for me this year.
We talk about blocking. I mean, we talk about blocking every year for like the last 10 years. At the start of the year, the block really wasn't there as strong as it has been, but now I believe you guys are number 2 in the country in blocks per set. What has clicked blocking-wise for you guys?
It's really been something we're working on a lot, and I think Taylor Murphy has really offered great feedback for us about pushing over and being dynamic and athletic in the sense that we need to take bigger steps and just get over the net rather than reaching. And I know that's like maybe technical terms or whatever, but it really makes sense to us, and in the moment it's hard to think about it during a game, but as we implement it in practice, we're able to take it to the court and play it in games.
All right, so you get a big kill or you get a big block. Which one fires you up more, and which one do you enjoy better?
I think a block. I think it fires me up more just because it's not something I did, but it's something that like me and like the outside or the right side are able to do together, and it's teamwork that makes that happen.
Did you think you were going to be in this spot playing on a team that's going to nationals and such things as that when you started out coming to college?
I didn't. I really hope so. I really hope we would evolve into this, and coming freshman year with a different coach until now, there's been a lot of changes, and so I think having those transitions has really helped us move forward.
How much fun has it been this last couple of years, this ride that you've been on, nationals, top 10 in the country last year, top 25 team this year, and chance for nationals again?
It's been irreplaceable. It's the most fun I've ever had, honestly. Yeah.
I appreciate you joining us today, Jenna, and good luck this weekend. I want to remind you fans, Thursday, 7 o'clock, the Crusaders host Seattle Pacific, then Saturday matinee, 2:30, all part of homecoming weekend, and then next week, Tuesday, Thursday matches as the Crusaders finish out the home season and the regular season before heading off to nationals, we hope. Thanks again.
Thank you.